Hey, what's up, dudes? How you doing? How's it going? Let me just move this a little bit. I'm trying a new microphone here. A lav mic, which is what I used to use when I very first started out. But the cable on this is so thin. You can see, if I can get this here, it's all oy vey. You can see that. It's all tangled up. But you get it. It's so easy to get broken. Just a little pull, and boom, the inside breaks. So, not very robust, but they're only about $20 a mic for this. It's an Audio Technica. So when that broke, I went to the big boy. But ever since I switched to the new camera without the automatic dialogue control, the different volumes don't squash out the other one. So what winds up happening is that I get a lot of crosstalk, and you can hear the guitar when I'm trying to play. You can hear the live, you can hear that, and that's not what we want. We want isolation as much as possible. So my beloved Red Sox, oh, guys, they did it. Oh, my God. Talk about the most improbable story. No one would have believed at the start of this season that they were going to go to the World Series. After the absolute debacle of last season. Just what a complete... We had 97 losses, I think, last year. And we had something like, 97 wins this year? It was like a complete reversal from last year to this year. And they won it all. They went to the World Series and they won it against a very good Cardinals team, a team I did not think we could beat. I really did not. I could not get my hopes up because I was like, the Cards, the bottom line, have better pitching. And pitching wins over hitting. So I thought for sure that we weren't going to win it. I thought it was going to be Cards in 6 or Cards in 7. I did not think that the Red Sox would win it. And quite frankly, even if they didn't win it, I would still count this as a winning season because of the massive turnaround from last year. You couldn't help but declare this an absolute winning season just when they made it to the postseason, let alone, getting through the division and then the league and series, the American League Series and the championship and the divisional championship. I mean, please, we were like the worst team, literally the worst. I'm not like the worst. We were the worst team last year. It's awful. I mean, the turnaround could not have been greater. I mean, it's like the definition of 180 degrees. So, what is it? Some shit like that. Right. So, yeah, what an awesome treat for a city that had a rough year. It's been a tough year. And, it's still sports. It's not real life. Some people think it is, but it is. It's entertainment. And win or lose, it really has no bearing on your life. But the marathon bombings had a huge impact on a lot of lives. A lot of lives. Whole families just disrupted and their lives turned upside down by, the acts of two, just absolute evil people who, And I think the older one really influenced, I mean, the younger one. But who cares? Once you throw your hat in that lot, you're in. So it was just so nice to have a little feel good story for Boston at the end of the year. I thought it might have been the Stanley Cup Finals, but it just wasn't our series, and so it was nice. And the marathon, unlike hockey, is sort of tied to baseball a little bit. There's always a game on marathon day, and they hold the game purposely at like 11 a.m. so that it gets out around 2:30, and people can go down to the finish line and watch the marathoners come across the finish line. And this year was no different, except this year they told them, don't go down there. There's been an incident, which they were still sorting out. Was it a sewer hole that blew up? No one really knew at first. It became pretty apparent, though, from the injuries that it was pretty serious. And it was more than just a sewer hole blowing up or a gas pipe explosion or something like that. And sure enough, they were right. And, everyone knows what happened after that. And it was just the weirdest week. That was the week Steel Panther came to town. And, they did a good job. I think talking to the audience and saying, we're not from Boston. We go all over the U.S. and it's not just here. Everyone across the U.S. supports you, and we're going to try and give you one night of some really face melting rock and roll, and maybe for one night we can breathe a little easier. I mean, they were here. The marathon bombing happening on Monday. They were here on Wednesday, so it was pretty quick, and then. It was either Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Wednesday, and then it was, and then that Friday, the whole city was on lockdown as they finally got the guys, wanted dead or alive, and one came dead and one came alive. But like I said, you want to do that kind of stuff, then you're taking a chance with your own life because people are gonna when it gets that bad, people are gonna shoot first and ask questions later. So at any rate, they got him, and we have a long road to recovery. And there's some people who didn't make it; they're never going to recover. They passed away. There's other people who have lifelong injuries: lost a foot, lost a leg, lost 2 feet, lost an arm and a foot. I mean, it just the injuries were just horrific. Just horrific. And so these sporting events is a way to sort of, bring the city together, to be able to rally around a cause. If you win, great. If you don't, that's okay. It's not about the winning. It's about the camaraderie. It's about bringing everyone together. And like I said, after last year's complete and utter fiasco, just the mere fact that we had more wins than losses at the end of the year was a big win in a lot of Red Sox fans' minds. So, and then to win it all was just stunning. It really was. And, my hat's off to the whole organization, but especially John Farrell and Ben Sherrington. They knew to shake the team up last year, not Farrington, but Sherrington. He knew to just dump the people he didn't think were contributing and bring in a whole crop of new people this year that were just, outstanding. And you know what? They did the beard thing, and I think I might keep mine. I think a couple of weeks ago, so itchy, right? You go through an itchy period. I was like, I'm shaving this thing off the second I can, which would be after the World Series, win or lose, right? But now that they won, you can send me a ring, guys, because clearly my beard had something to do with it. But I think I might keep it for the winter. Maybe we'll see how it's doing in the summer and whether or not I want it to stick around. But, my wife sort of come around on it. She's like, yeah. I mean, she went away to Chicago for a week. She came back. She was like, oh, right, you have a beard. God, who are you? It's like, I know. But, so it's too funny. But, a lot of the people suggested I should do something for Movember, but I think Movember rules means I have to shave this off and start again. And that's highly unlikely because I don't want to go through the whole itchy period where, and then it looks like hell for a while. It takes a while to really grow in. It's really not even grown in yet. I started this in October, right? I started this like, I don't know, the game one of the ALCS. So we'd already gone through the divisional series. So what is this, about 3 weeks worth of growth? I suppose I could do it again for that, but then Thanksgiving it might not look, and I don't want to catch crap from my wife and my mother. They'll both be telling me, geez, that beard looks like hell. So I'll let it grow out, I think. And that's it. I got my 50's Strat that you've seen. There's nothing particularly different about this from any other 50's Strat, except that this one has this really nice, I don't know how much is going to come out through on the camera until I get a little closer, but this one just has this really nice flame maple neck. And I know people, they're like, oh, flame maple is very expensive. Yes and no. I think in general they do get more for it, and I think wood dealers try to separate the flame maple from the regular maple, but once in a while, just without any extra payment or any extra moniker like custom or plus or something like that, you will see one come through with flame maple just because that's what they're using for the wood that day, and they just happen to have one come through with a flame maple neck. So maybe 1 out of 1,000 will have a flame maple neck. I've actually seen squires with flame maple necks, which is pretty awesome. You'll see one go through. We have some stools here. They're off camera, but we have these like wooden stools that we bought from a local sort of like what I would call like a woodworking place. Most of their furniture is unfinished, but they have a few pieces that are finished. And so the stools were $4 a stool, and one of the stools, the down leg is all flame maple. So clearly just they got a piece of maple there. And then the other one of the rungs is all flame maple. And I have I think a $12 saw where the handle of the saw is just the most beautiful flame maple. And it was the only one on the rack. I was like, oh, look at that one. I'll take the flame maple one. It looks kind of cool. So like I said, maple sometimes has flames. That striping, that tiger striping that looks so nice. And people do try to separate that wood and get a little bit more for it. But once in a while, you'll see one come through for just regular price. And this is one of those. So I think new these are around $7.99, but I got this one for under $400, which is a great deal. And it's got that crazy bite of the 50s style pickups. So I'm pretty stoked, about it. And so my beloved Red Sox, my hat's off to them. I just heard the air conditioning kick on because it was 41 degrees out a couple of days ago. Dew point around 19. It's pretty dry. Right now the dew point is 61 and it's about 70 degrees out and raining and windy. It's pretty crazy for this time of year. Hear that? Yeah. There's the condenser draining out. Though this mic not pick that up. This other mic, this guy, is I think a lot more sensitive. Where this one, just very quickly has a big drop off. So if you're not right up on it, it does really drop off. So I'm hoping that this will be a better choice going on. And they're cheap. They're very, very cheap. This is an Audio Technica. And I bought it off of Amazon for $20, which is half of what I bought for the first one. The first one I bought off of Amazon, and I paid $39.95. Now I bought it off of Amazon, and it's $19.95. And free 2-day shipping because I have Amazon Prime. But I like this guitar. Now, they said it was surf green, which I suppose it is. But some people said it. No. Surf green is the other one, the greener one. That's like the, seafoam green, which is bluer. But then other people are like, no. The seafoam green is the greener one, and that's the surf green. So it's just back and forth. One guy's like, "Do you ever consider it might be Sonic Blue?" And I'm like, "No, the Sonic Blue is bluer." It's like Fender. Making me crazy. But it was listed as surf green. You know what? The closest one I've seen in this color, and I have looked and looked and looked and looked, and the closest one I've seen to this color is an Ingve model with the scallop fingerboard. And I think they called that surf green as well. So I think it is surf green. All right, guys. Well, this isn't really a review. This is just me coming on a Friday morning because I have a little bit of time. And I just wanted to say thanks to the Red Sox for a hell of a year. And I couldn't be prouder of the team. And not that they need my thanks. But, it really was awesome. And I'll come back. I'll do a fuller review on this where I play it a little bit clean and, we can fool around with it a little bit. But it's just your straight up made in Mexico 50's model. Made in Mexico, right? Yeah, Mexico. So, I really like the neck on this too. The 50 style has the V style, and I like the V. Which means the back just comes to a little bit more of a point, and it curves very quickly, comes to more of a V, whereas the 60s is more like a C, a little rounder. So I really like the neck on this. But all right, guys, that's it. As always, rock on, have a good weekend, and I'm sure I'll be back here first thing next week with a new vid. All right, guys, rock on. I think actually when I walk now, I'm going to be able to take the microphone with me. Yeah. I can check this puppy out. Looking pretty good. You can see I hope I can get that in there just right. You can see the flame on that neck. It is sweet. And then maybe the back. Oh yeah, now you can see it a little bit. Pretty good. How do I move? Get this thing to show up. All right. There's that. All right, guys. Rock on.